We've recently seen some really major price drops on this new generation of GPUs. It's really got me wondering, so soon after these cards launch, they've already dropped in price so much. So let's take a look at these deals really quick and give you my thoughts. But you know whose discounts are always looking good? Those from our sponsor. Imagine being this guy. Couldn't be me. But you're like, Vex, how do I fix this when big corpo Microsoft is asking $200 to farm your data? Today's sponsor, SCD Key, you can get Windows 10 Edition and upgrade it for free to Windows 11 for a low price. And once you get to checkout, make sure to use code VEX for an extra 25% off. Then just choose your preferred payment method and you'll be emailed your code. I also have confirmation from SCD Keys themselves that all of their keys are ethically sourced from OEM manufacturers. So that's something that you can trust. All links will be in the description. Make sure to use code VEX. Let's get back into it. First of all these are brought to us by the wonderful, the amazing Daniel Owen. We see first the RTX 4070 MSRP'd at $600, and obviously that didn't work so well with a $60 coupon, bringing it down to $540. And seeing some of these deals, me and many of you watching might be actually thinking about buying these because they're starting to get into the realm of reality. Because the 4070, and compared to its last generation counterpart, the 3070, and I don't agree with Nvidia or AMD's naming this generation at all. The 4070 was about 31% faster than the 3070, but the 3070 technically only costed $500. You get a GPU that is 30% faster that costs 20% more than the 3070, so it wasn't a very attractive option. And mind you, the 4070 only launched in April, and within that span of time, what, like 3 months, is getting a 10% price reduction here. At this price of $540, it's not looking all that bad. The problem is when you look how it performs, it is basically within 8% of an RTX 3080, so almost margin of error. If you're willing to go on the used market, 3080s are an insanely good deal on the used market. $400 was shipping here. Insanely fast cards. You can play very comfortably at 1440p with a 3080, and if you don't push the VRAM too heavy, then you could play at 4K. And I don't think this 4070 from Nvidia is priced low enough to even be competitive with 3080s. I don't know why 3080s have gone so much down on the used market. I'm not really complaining because if you guys want to pick you up a deal, this is the deal to get. I highly recommend it. I bought a used RTX 3080, but I bought it for $550 in October of last year. So let's move on to the next deal. And it is 7900 XTX for $880. All of these. So you get Resident Evil 4. You know, it's technically worth like $60, but I'll just say it's $40 because no, not everybody's going to play it. Some people might sell it. So just equate this to a $40. So think of the 7900 XTX here being worth about $840. This doesn't look bad at this price point because its nearest competitor is the 4080, and this guy is going for $1,100. So if you could get one, forms almost the same, much less, $840. So you're saving about $250 on the XTX. Could still see the XTX maybe going down to $800 in the future, but we'll see how things go. Our next deal up here is the 7900 XT. So without the extra X, and this one is going to $720, and you also get Resident Evil 4. So I'm equating this to about $680, and that is honestly within a range of a 7900 XT, getting 20 gigabytes of VRAM, getting AV1 encoding, that it's looking pretty good. Although we need to look at this next deal in order to see if this is justified, and that is the 6950 XT, going all the way down, also having the Resident Evil 4. I would say that this costs $527. $527 for a 6950 XT. That is an amazing deal. And that's the same deal that makes the 7900 XT not look that good. Because if you go into the performance charts, the 6950 XT compared to the 7900 XT, the 7900 XT is only about 14% faster. It's costing about 30% more even with these sale prices. So the 7900 XT, it really shows how bad it launched at, because its original MSRP was this.
There's really not much to say about this one. Basically, there is no reason to buy the Radeon RX 7900 XT. You'd always just spend $100 more to get the XTX version, and really for the XT to make sense, it needs to cost at least $200 US less than the XTX. Anything short of that, and again, you might as well just buy the fully fledged model.
Like, the reason the 7900 XT is discounted from $900 to basically what is coming up here as $680. So what, $220 off. The reason it has to come down that far is how terrible this product was to begin with. And compared to the 6950 XT, it still needs to come down more. So we'll have to see how things turn out for that card. But it doesn't look that bad at this price point, because you do get AV1, better ray tracing performance, and extra 4 gigs of VRAM. But 16 gigabytes on the 6950 XT isn't really bad either. That'll get you through almost any gaming scenario, at least this point in time, and probably years into the future. I think this card needs to be like $650, and it's still kind of a hard sell, but it's not that bad. Let's look at the most hilarious one here, and that is the RX 7600, which only launched in late May. This card's only a few weeks old, and we see it here going for about 11% under MSRP. I think I did that math in my head, but I think it's around 11%, $243-ish, somewhere in there. And then this one also comes with the RE4, so Resident Evil 4. As far as I can tell, is a pretty fun game, and I'm equating that to about 40 bucks. So you're basically getting this 7600 for about $200. And to think that AMD at this card's launch wanted to price it at $300. It still isn't selling at $270, and they want to discount it already. It's only a month after launch.
The good news is that the price is lower, moving from $300 to $270. That much is positive. The bad news is that AMD can't be trusted to cohesively and competently launch a product. Normally, it embarrasses itself at time of launch, like with the 7900 XT at $900, and then it drops the price later. All of you in the audience commenting that this is AMD's game to lose were right, especially with the 4060 Ti being so embarrassing for Nvidia.
So this 7600 is just so embarrassing. They dropped this and they cut the price before it even launched. Only a month into its launch, its price gets cut again. I'm not saying it's as bad of a product, but it's almost getting as embarrassing as when Nvidia dropped the 4060 Ti with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and then it performed, yeah, they say on Tech Power up here it beats a 3070, but in a lot of cases it was really close to a 3060 Ti. $270 was not enough. They're seeing that this card isn't selling, and that's because AMD's biggest competitor is themselves. The 6650 XT, which performs really similarly, is at $230. So it's hard to justify getting the 7600. Barely feels like an upgrade at all. You're basically just paying to get AV1 encoding. Not everybody cares about that. So we're seeing this card with the game bundle dropping basically to $200, which I think is where it needs to be exciting to people, because technically succeeding the 6600 non-XT, and that card nowadays is going for $180, and it is a really, really good deal. It needs to be priced close to that, maybe around $200. I think this 7600 starts to look attractive to a lot of people. But this is the most egregious example of price cuts that I think I've seen at all. It's similar to how the 7900 XT launched. It wasn't too long after this card dropped, its price got cut significantly. Again, that whole situation is because AMD's biggest enemy is themselves. Their RDNA 2 cards, say the 6950 XT in this case, is just so competitive with their new generation of products. And I made a whole video about this, how RDNA 3, it launched, and we don't see significant performance uplifts or price to performance for a new generation of cards. And on top of that, they seem to have named them very poorly. Like this 7900 XT should have been called a 7800 XT and costed around $600 to $650 from the start to be attractive to a lot of people. AMD fumbled the bag really bad. I mean, they dropped everything. This says a lot for this generation of graphics cards. And even going back to Nvidia's side, Nvidia is barely cutting their prices, even though these graphics cards are not selling a whole lot. And Nvidia doesn't really care about their GPU sales, it seems like, because obviously they're very focused on AI and producing chips to accelerate AI instead of producing chips for gamers. And even at this price point of $540, which starts to look pretty attractive, I mean, it's really power efficient, and it has AV1 and it has frame generation, a feature that AMD is still yet to launch with the FSR 3. Something else I wanted to point out though is that we see all these price cuts on these cards, and it starts to make this new generation of graphics cards look decently exciting. Not perfect by any means, they're still a little bit overpriced as we went over earlier, and many of you might be thinking, oh, I might pick me up one of those. It's only been 2 days since he did that community post, but sadly they were only flash sales, and yeah, you don't get that savings anymore. So all of these deals, that savings coupon that made them so good, you do not get any of them whatsoever anymore. But this does give me some hope for the future, because if these cards drop in a flash sale, that sets the new standard. Pricing virginity has been popped. So, you know, realistically in the future, we could see these prices go down to that again. And I realistically think we could see them go lower than what these deals were probably by the end of the year. I could see 4070s possibly going for $500, 7900 XTs going for under 700 consistently. A lot of things happening. That would start to make this generation look like how it should have been from the very beginning. That just makes me think of how scummy they've been launching these new generation graphics cards, because if you got an XTX, which is one of the fastest cards in the world, and maybe you bought it at launch for a little over $1,000, and now it goes for $850, including this game bundle. I bet a lot of people seeing these deals are feeling salty. Nvidia and AMD, AMD isn't excluded from this, that they wanted to gouge people at the beginning and try to get those early sales and get the higher margins at the beginning, and then eventually bring it down to the price where they think people will actually buy them. It doesn't feel good at all for the consumer to see these deals come down, although we are happy to see them come down. So I guess we can't complain a whole lot, but I feel like a lot of people that bought these at launch, maybe you're just getting the cost of the bleeding edge, but it must not feel good. Anyways though, yeah, this generation's starting to come down to earth and starting to become something that I can recommend, but I don't think it's quite there yet, and I'd like to see these prices go down a little bit more. Because when I even look at it, as I told you guys earlier, I got an RTX 3080 for $550 at the end of last year, and the 4070 performs really similar, and the 4070 is only just starting to get discounted to that price for a new generation product. Products that are supposed to shake up the pricing structure haven't been doing that at all. We're interested in these deals. Hopefully they come back again pretty soon. See how it goes. I just wanted to say thank you to the members of this channel, Ivan and Leonardo. So thank you for supporting these videos that I make, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.